All right. Hello, everyone. I am Laura Wilson here with Scott Hopson today to talk a little bit about whole body vibration versus targeted vibration. And before we dive into that, I'd like to just introduce Scott a little bit. He is an international coach and educator, co-founder of PTA Global and Pivotal, which are development companies in the fitness and performance field. You have clients all over, clients such as Exos, Gray Institute, Midtown Athletic Clubs, Unifit Academy, and of course, Power Plate as well. You've been in the industry 20 years, authored over 50 courses, worked in 100 countries, coached and educated over 100,000 people globally. And I have to add to the end, I've been lucky enough to work with you over several different capacities over the years, including Power Plate currently. So thanks for joining me today.
You bet, mate. I should have felt inspired by that wonderful intro. I just felt old. I just felt old instead of inspired. That's way too many things.
That's an impressive resume right there. And that was a very general overview. Well,
yeah, it's been quite the journey.
Yeah, I'd like to just start, this is a conversation kind of comparing and contrasting whole body vibration versus targeted vibration. You've worked in the field and had such amazing experience globally. Could you first just define what exactly is whole body vibration and what exactly is targeted vibration if we're going to talk about the differences?
Yeah, it's where you got to start, right? Because if you can't define what you're talking about, if you don't have clarity on what it is, it's very unlikely you're going to use it right. So for me, let's do the 101 or the 1.0 version, which is what are they? And then I think we can dig a bit deeper. So whole body vibration, pretty straightforward, right? It's a mechanically vibrating platform that stimulates the natural reflexes in the body to increase circulation, enhance muscle activation, and as a result of that, all the different benefits that come with that. But it's as simple as you are performing movements, simple or complex, whatever you would do on the ground, squat, push, pull, plank, on top of a platform. The biggest thing that after 20 years of using it and teaching it, people still often misunderstand is that the thing moves. So when you're on it, doing, say, a squat or a push-up, it doesn't just vibrate and shake, it leaves you and comes back. And what's obviously unique about the Power Plate is it does it in 3 dimensions, which is crucial for human function. But in its most fundamental description, it's a moving platform due to vibration that leaves you and comes back X amount of times per second. And so as a result of that, this cascade of things go on in the body, these responses and adaptations, which is why you can use it from everything from preparing to move to performing to recovering. It's a all-inclusive training modality. It's a training modality, which is not the same as targeted vibration. So targeted vibration would be better called percussion, because what it really is pressure being applied to the body very locally, i.e. targeted. So you're not standing on it, you're not working out on it, you're not getting the same stimulus as you do on a vibrating platform. They're both mechanical, they both use vibration, but whereas, let's say, a Power Plate, when it leaves and comes back, it applies force to the body. What the TVPs are really doing is applying percussion, pressure waves to the body, which is why they've been used for decades in all manner of medicine, health, physical therapy, because they provide circulation, pain dampening, increased range of motion, and very importantly, expedite recovery times from delayed onset of muscle soreness. So they've been used as a recovery tool for ages. So in short, it has many of the same outcomes as whole body vibration, but it does not have as many. It is a prepare and recover tool. It's not a training tool. And it's very targeted, using it on your traps, your quads, whatever it is. Whereas whole body vibration, as the name suggests, you can do both. You can localize it or globalize it, right? I could go after that quad or I could go after the whole body. So that's really, in its simplest form, how they're different.
Okay. So knowing that they have some similarities, but then there's some pretty significant differences, based on those definitions, what demographic or what would we use whole body vibration for? Who would use it? Ages, groups, fitness levels? Is it truly for everyone? Is it for certain populations? And I'm talking about whole body vibration based on.
Yeah, think of it this way: if we just anchor to the principles, the scientific principles, it answers itself. Meaning, there are two primary mechanisms, right, that we know through the science and the research of whole body vibration that give it its benefit. And one of those in our education we call a global response, proprioception, if you will. Let's say that you're doing a single leg squat on a power plate. Every time it leaves you and comes back, your center of gravity is very aware that your base of support, the ground, just went missing. And so globally, those proprioceptors get you to turn on, to react. But I could also use whole body vibration for more of a local response, which in the old days we called that tonic vibration reflex, which is now, if I change my position, my posture, the tension, I can get different response. So now in my bilateral squat, I shift over to the left. I've put more tension, more of my weight into the left. That tension means I'm going to get more of the vibration, because vibration, or another way, tension is a vibration magnet. Wherever you put the tension with whole body vibration is where the vibration likes to go. So if that's what happens, and it does, we know that I can use it to improve flexibility and circulation, stability, mobility, which helps me to prepare before I go for a run, a workout, or kick a soccer ball. But I could also use that same science principle for strength, power, endurance. And that's why we have incredible research on those results as well. Obviously, I have to change my movement. I have to change my frequency, amplitude, my sets, reps. There's a science to it. And then finally, I can use it very passively for myofascial or massage. By laying down and being passive, I get passive benefits. I start to calm down the nervous system, decrease pain, and promote relaxation, and my favorite, immune function, lymphatic drainage. So it's a recovery tool. So if that's the case, and it's apparently safe for all populations, it's a medically certified device, the only two criteria that would say who can't use it is if you are not cleared for weight-bearing strength exercise and you are not cleared for weight-bearing cardiovascular exercise, walking on a treadmill, squatting, lunging, etc. If you're cleared for those, you're cleared for whole body vibration. If you're not cleared for those, then you're not cleared. So the answer is, that's every population. How you use it's going to change. How I use it for pre-activation with my world-class rugby player is going to be very different than how I use it for my mum with bone mineral. But they're both using it. So who is it appropriate for? Anybody that wants to prepare faster, perform better, recover quicker, assuming they're cleared for weight-bearing strength and weight-bearing cardio. That's it. After my 20 years, I think it's that simple. Because someone could come in and say, man, I just busted my ACL. Can I use it? Can you run on a treadmill with your busted ACL? No, then you're not cleared. Because you're not cleared for weight-bearing strength and cardio. It's not the vibration in an ACL. It's the fact that you're not ready for that stress yet. So we have to get away from thinking about the tool and think of the science and the principles. And when you really understand those couple of basic principles, you don't need to know, it doesn't matter what the tool is called. It's appropriate for anybody.
Yeah. So you mentioned in that list of many, many things you can use and the whole body vibration platform for, one of the things you said, my mom and like bone mineral. So this isn't just for exercise. You mentioned also that it's a medical device. That whole body vibration is helping you to activate, to recover. But it sounds like it's not just exercise or maybe even rehab, that there are other things it's being used for.
I love that. This is honestly, mate, this is the thing that I'm most passionate about with it, because obviously I love fitness. I love performance. I'm a coach. I'm a fitness coach. I'm a sports coach. But at the end of the day, we've got probably, I know for youth, by the time they're at 14 years of age, less than 30% of kids meet any kind of physical activity requirement. But we have over 85% of our adult population don't move. We have 1 in 3 people that are obese since 2000, 400% increase in 40 years. And we've got the first generation of kids that are going to die younger than their parents with adult diseases.
That
So
is a
what I really care
staggering
about is that,
statistic.
yeah, it keeps me up at night. It really does, man. And the point is this: if you're talking about bone health, or you're talking about cognitive health, or you're talking about socio-emotional health, if we don't move, the system is not healthy. There is a direct correlation between all of those things that we need to develop in life to make us healthy, happy human beings, and moving. And it really comes down to motion. Example, if I don't have enough fluids in the body, if I'm dehydrated, all bets are off. 2%, you start to, all the functions in the body decrease. 5% is hazardous. Just assume most people are dehydrated. So then they say, right, but I'm drinking 5-6 glasses of water a day when I sit at my office desk. They're still dehydrated. Why? Because we know that in order for that water to get into the muscles, to get into that connective tissue, you don't just have to drink it, you have to move. If you don't move, you can't hydrate your tissues. I could say the same thing about bones, the nervous system, your organs. Like if we don't use it, we lose it. And that's not just muscles, that's tissues. What I love about vibration training is I could put my mum on there and do 3 to 4 simple movements that feel good to her. I don't even care what they are. I don't care what they are. If 10 minutes a day on a power plate potentially stimulates her thousands of times, I just put motion into her body, not just exercise movement. I actually mean motion, muscles contracting, nerves turning on, blood getting pumped, tissues moving. It's all about motion. We got to get people moving more often. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not complicated, but we have all these rules around squat like this, push like this, pull like this, here's your splits. And it's like, oh, my mum doesn't care. Get on this thing for a few minutes a day.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
So I think
amazing.
that's the greatest power of vibration training, is that it literally creates internal motion of all the cells in the body. And that's not saying I get to talk about much on the PPR calls, but that's the reality.
So that's the amazing stuff that whole body vibration does. Does targeted or percussion vibration activate, you mentioned earlier this whole idea of global response and proprioception. Is it possible for TVPs, for targeted vibration products, to do anything similar to that? I know you said it's not quite the same stimulus.
Oh, yeah. So that's a brilliant question. So think of it this way. A TVP for me is a thing that enhances all motion. It's not the training itself, but it enhances everything around the motion. Okay. So if we think of it as percussion, and this goes back to centuries of massage techniques. I think the original, I'm kind of going to say this wrong, appotement, APOTEMENT. Potato. It's either appointment or appointment. But what it is that old Swedish technique, and it's very rhythmical. And they use essentially like 3 to 4 different techniques. They can tap, they can pound, they can pat. So you might have had someone like cup their hand, where the fingers and the palm touch you. Sorry, the fingers and the heel of your hand touch you, but their palm doesn't, and they kind of cup you. Or they might use the edge of their hand, and they're kind of rhythmically chopping up and down your body.
Yeah.
Or they might be using their fingertips. All of those are the same kind of percussive massage. And so the point is that technique has been used for years to promote lymphatic drainage, dampen pain, revitalize the cells in your tissues, promote circulation, not to mention decrease cortisol and stress hormones. Okay, that's what TVP does. That's my point. It's applying rhythmical percussion waves to the soft tissues of your body. Now, when it gets really cool is if we think of whole body vibration, the frequencies are, 25 to 50 on average. But when we're talking about TVPs, we're talking like 1,200 to 4,000 a minute.
Oh, wow.
Because then you're not training against it. Its main job is to really target or apply pressure to that cutaneous level of the body, the outside.
Okay.
And if you've got enough percussion, it will go deeper and get into that subcutaneous level. So we think of it and you're like, oh yeah, I've got the skin. And then under that skin, I got all the adipose and the fat. And then I start getting into fascia, then I get into muscles, then I get into the bone. But what we now know is that's not true. That's incomplete. Fascia is everywhere. Your skin's fascia. There's fascia through your fat. There's fascia around your muscles. There's fascia around your bones. There's nerves everywhere. There's circulation everywhere. So if I can get even just pressure on that layer of skin, it changes the entire integrity of the cells underneath it. That's why TVPs are so powerful, because they actually apply pressure waves that filtrate all those layers. Now, are they going to help you lay down new bone? No. No, you need to be weight bearing, you need to be moving, you need compressive load.
Yeah.
Are they going to make you stronger? No. But if I use it prior to doing my strength training, could I potentially have more force, more range of motion? Absolutely. So it enhances everything you do when you train. But unlike vibration, which is the training. So that's where, to me, whole body vibration is the all-inclusive.
Yeah.
It does the whole, all of it.
So knowing that whole body vibration is inclusive and percussive can be used kind of around, would you ever use them in conjunction? Is there a benefit to using them in conjunction with one another?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I'm very I can do that, right? I can do it at home. I can do it at Midtown because we have all the bells and whistles. Let's say that today I've got a client, an athlete or a patient who's got some kind of soreness, whether it's from recovering from the game they played, recovering from yesterday's training session, or just life. They've just got like stiffness, tension in their tissues. Okay. If it's very localized, i.e., Scott, it's in my traps, my neck and traps are killing me, I'm grabbing a TVP because I can get that pressure wave into tissues immediately so that I can increase range of motion, circulation, and get those tissues turned on to produce more force. Absolutely. Okay. Now, but if I said, I've got soreness in my hamstrings, okay, well, I might want to use that TVP to separate those tissues, get them sliding and gliding. But now I'm going to need the power plate to actively, go through my dynamic flexibility, mobility, stability, and get it ready even more for the session I'm about to do.
Okay.
So in the old days, I'd have to do my massage on the power plate. Great. Because I want to get rid of that DOMS from yesterday's leg training. And then I go through my routine, mobility, stability, dynamic flexibility. But the actual TVP makes it much more better for me. Now I can actually really apply it locally to the tissues that are stuck.
Okay.
As opposed to a generic hamstring massage, which is great at the end of the session, but it's not as good as a TVP at the beginning. I mean, if I've got an area that's really gunked up, that TVP is a game changer for me. So that's one way I can do it. That's very simple. Another way I love to do it is actually between sets. So let's say that let's go to the other end of the continuum. I'm doing heavy strength training today with an athlete, and we're working 1 to 5 reps. And today, let's just say I'm doing clusters. So instead of doing 5 heavy reps to failure, doing 2, resting for 30, doing 2, resting for 30, doing 1. Then I've got like a 3 to 5 minute rest before I do another set. Really good heavy strength training. During that 3 to 5 minutes, I'm telling you now, you do 15 to 30 seconds of TVP on the glutes, on the hamstrings, on the things that you just used to crush that heavy deadlift before you do the next set. It will stop you going into that accumulative fatigue. So I actually can use it as active recovery between sets. And that's not always
has to be a
practical
game
with a
changer.
power plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I'm in the weight room and the power plate's not in the weight room, it's in the recovery area, I'm not going to run downstairs to the other area to pre-activate between each set. But if I can use that TVP, because by set 4, I'm starting to feel it. Maybe your low back's tightening up. Okay, that's not good before your 5th set under heavy load. So it might be a great time not to do 90 seconds of TVP where you actually put it into like relaxation mode, just 15 to 30 seconds to stop that tension building and to keep it activated for the next set. So that's another way you could use them together. There's infinite ways actually, but that's 2 of the biggest ways that I like to use them.
So that leads me right into, so you mentioned kind of how long to use it. In this case, you know, in between these big heavy sets, we're talking about 30 seconds and not 90. How would I know how to use whole body vibration or how to use targeted vibration? And I know with a lot of the targeted vibration products, there are different accessories, there are different shapes and sizes. How do I know how to use these things and what to use and when to use?
Yeah, right. It can be overwhelming. And what I can't do today is give a sound bite, because there's always going to be 10 exceptions to it.
Yeah.
But what you're going to find is, typically, I'll give you two answers. The obvious one is, there's a reason that at PowerPlate we have globally accredited education in all of these products.
Mm-hmm.
So go to the app, look at all the free stuff, and we'll give you the basic guidelines. Or you can come to a Discover workshop, or you can come to a PPR certification, and we show you the full integration. So that's one.
Okay,
look
so
online.
there are definitely places to find this information. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, the PowerPlay app, the Discover Live workshop, and then the Prepare, Perform, Recover one-day certification, which is 8 hours. They're all globally accredited CCs, but we integrate the TVPs into the whole body vibration, into the integration with mass, load, etc.
Awesome. So let's just tie this right back into PowerPlate then. You know, most people who have looked at whole body vibration would agree that PowerPlate is the gold standard in whole body vibration. What exactly, though, is PowerPlate offering in the field of targeted vibration? What are they offering in that category now?
Regarding products?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got this.
Because I think that's a fairly new area.
The gun. Yep. Mm-hmm. The handheld gun, the Pulse. Then we've got the Dual Sphere, the Peanut, and then we've got the Roller. And a few things about them. Obviously, one, the vibration is world class. I mean, it's precise, it's harmonic, it's in the right ranges. And even though we talk about frequency and amplitude with whole body vibration, really it's RPMs with these devices, like you know, revolutions per minute. So you've got those different products. The Pulse comes with 6 different attachments. And what I love about the Roller, well, all of them, is they have multiple settings. And so each setting, you can get a different amount of RPMs and therefore different pressure, right? So that ties into, how do you use it? Typically speaking, prior to your workout training or whatever it is you're doing for movement, it's going to be less duration. And you're going to use it to either decrease tension, but more importantly, to increase circulation and stimulate a muscle, because you're about to work, you're about to put load in the body. What you don't want to do with a TVP, ideally, just before you lift, run, move, play, is turn things off. So I see a lot of people, you know, especially with their traps and neck, and be like, oh, that feels so good. And they'll spend like 2 minutes just like drilling themselves with a pulse. And whilst that's good for your recovery, that's not ideal before you go and do your heavy deadlifts, right? So generally speaking, if I was going to give you a soundbite, your TVPs would be less time under tension or stimulus prior to, and a lot more after.
Okay.
You'd want more stimulation before, and more recovery after. It would be equivalent to the old days when people used to do their static slow stretching and then go for a run. And then, you know, lo and behold, we found out, static stretching not so good for dynamic exercise. Do that after. TVPs are the same. And again, it comes down to the principles. What does it do and why are you using it? If you're using it to relax and recover, don't do it before you work out.
Yeah. Well, that's some really powerful information. And I thank you so much, Scott, for joining me today, just to kind of try to clarify whole body vibration versus targeted vibration with me.
You bet, mate. And I would love to leave whoever has got time or desire to listen to this, one of my favorite kind of, I don't want to say unknowns about TVPs and whole body vibration, but the power it has on the immune system. So here's what I would suggest to people. We know that there are certain regions of the body that really stimulate the lymphatic system. So we know up on our neck, by our collarbone, our spleen, so right under where your ribs are on the left-hand side. And here's another one, back of the knee and the foot. So whether you've got a power plate or whether you've got a TVP, if you was to just do some rhythmical percussion behind your knee or on the sole of your foot. One I like is the spleen, so left side of your rib cage, right near your bottom rib.
Okay.
And apply that TVP or some power plate massage to those regions, just for like 30 to 45 seconds, a couple of times a day. You might be shocked at what that does to your clarity, your sleep, your recovery. And the reason is mechanical, rhythmical stimulation in those areas is what the lymphatic system loves. And one of the greatest things that vibration and percussion do is stimulate the lymphatic system. But it's not as simple as like, then do I just roll around on it or squat on it? There's actually areas in the body where you have the most lymph nodes and the most sensitivity. Neck, collarbone, spleen, back of the knee, feet. Choose a couple, stimulate them a couple of times a day, and see what changes.
Well, with that little nugget of information, I'm going to go grab my targeted vibration and get on this. I just learned, I always learn something new from you, Scott. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, mate. Chat to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.